What is going on? Today the guys are working on a full suspension kit and some skid plates for a client. He just actually called yesterday and he was heading on a trip down to Mexico. He's got a big van and there's a lot of stuff in it. So he's a little bit concerned about the roads and wants everything in the van to be protected and to ride well. So we're doing a Van Compass 4.3 suspension kit for him and a full skid plate setup from Van Compass 2. So we're really stoked because basically everybody who gets one of these kits installed is really happy with the performance of their van afterwards. So the guys have been working on it. They're at lunch right now, so let's get a peek at what they've done so far. Come on. Check out this beast. It's the 3500 170, not extended, just the 170. And it's fully outfitted on the inside. And this gentleman actually spends a lot of time in the van, living out of it for months on end. So he's got a ton of cool stuff like surfboards and paddle boards and all sorts of gear on the inside. So we know that it's a heavy van. So the Van Compass suspension kit is really going to give him a super comfy ride. The Van Compass 4.3 kit consists of front and rear shocks, a leaf spring kit for the rear, and then some sumo springs for the front as well. And with that kit, we've done it on a ton of vans, and basically everybody that has had it done said it was money well spent in terms of making the van much more comfortable and perform better. So let's take a look at the actual components that are on it. So under here we will have an adjustable rear shock and the add-a-leaf spring kit. So obviously on a van, usually the back end is heavier than the front, at least in terms of the weight that's added to the van when the upfit is done. So there are Van Compass suspension kits without the leaf spring kit, but we think it's worth it, especially when you're getting into a heavier van like this. On the front, again, you have an adjustable front shock, and then there are sumo springs that are added here, just kind of as a bump stop if the van is kind of hitting a big dip or maybe climbing over a rock. That's just going to help protect it from basically hitting the frame. The shocks are adjustable with multiple different settings. So basically you can set them to light or mid-tune, just kind of with the S2 setting, which is a twist of the shaft. That is kind of a permanent setting once it's on here, that's set, but then the customers themselves will also have 3 different settings that they can put the van on. Basically a firm, a mid, and a soft. And then when you're in the mid-tune, you also have 8 different settings within that to kind of fine-tune how you want the van to feel. It's actually kind of a lot. We kind of try to simplify it down for people by setting the shocks at middle when we hand it off to them, and then let them drive it for a little bit and go in either direction, a little bit firmer, a little bit softer, until they feel like the van is riding the way they want it to. And of course, if you're going on different terrain, from the highway to off-road, that might be a time where you get out and actually physically shift the settings on the shocks so you can have it ride, the way that's comfortable for you. So that's the suspension kit. When the guys come back for lunch, they are going to put on a front engine skid plate, the transfer case skid plate, a fuel tank skid plate, and a differential plate. So basically the complete underside of the van will be protected from rocks and sticks and basically whatever the desert throws at them. All right, we'll be back. This is Eli. He gave us a call looking for the suspension kit that we're doing on his van. So welcome to the shop.
So glad to be here. So
Awesome.
excited you get me in so quickly too. Thank
Yeah,
you so
yeah,
much.
we were able to do it quickly. I thought these guys would be interested to hear your story. So how was the van feeling prior to you coming in, and what kind of made you feel like I need to get some suspension on it?
Yeah, so I've been living in my van for about 1.5 years now,
Okay.
and totally love it, but it's getting pretty heavy. With it being totally built out like that with the factory suspension, the back was
Right.
just dragging, so
Cool.
definitely needed a lift.
It's a 4-wheel drive, right? So do you take it off-road?
I take it off-road, I take it on the beach,
Oh, nice.
up in mud, mountains, whatever. It does pretty well, but definitely you could feel it, sway, and
Yeah.
just doesn't handle it
You're
as
right.
well as I would hope.
Cool. And you're about to go on a trip, is that right?
That's true. I am headed down to Baja for 6 weeks here, so
Sweet.
a little surf trip.
Oh,
so,
nice.
I know the roads are pretty terrible down there, so I was
Yeah.
really worried about clearance, and I'm really glad you're going to be putting on skid plates for me too,
Right.
so as protect the undercarriage.
Cool, yeah, we're doing the full front skid plate for Eli on his van. So the engine, the transfer case, the differential, and the fuel tank are all gonna get skid plates on them. Because yeah, you definitely don't wanna be stuck in the middle of nowhere without service and with no fuel, I would imagine. Is that part of
the
it?
worst possible scenario. Yeah.
Okay, right on. This is a kit that I think it makes sense to do for people who are gonna be off-road a lot. If you are gonna stay on the road all the time, you probably don't need all the skid plates. You do still need the suspension because that helps every day, whether you're just on the city streets or off-road. But I'm totally jealous. I want to go to Baja. I haven't surfed in a couple months because we've been doing so much of this stuff, but I'm glad you get to go, and yeah, we're excited to hear. So basically, once you get down there, maybe you could send us a message or give us a call and just let us know how it's working.
You got it.
Cool.
Absolutely.
3 hours later.
Totally invincible. What? I don't even believe this. I don't even believe it.
Big difference, right? I got
Huge difference. Sit this way, guys, over there. This is too much fun.
I know.
Oh my god. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. We just sent Eli off. His van is off the lift, and we just did that little test run on it. It's so much fun when you get a suspension kit to just kind of roll through the stuff that you would have never wanted to drive over before. So thank you guys so much for watching. As with pretty much everything we do here, you can find these parts on our website at vanlandstore.com, and we can ship them to you, or we can do the installation here in our shop. So thanks again, everybody, and we will see you next time.